Revive South Jersey started in Bridgeton back in 2012. My wife and I had worked as missionaries in Mexico and just came back in 2011, and in some conversations with churches that had supported us while we were in Mexico, they asked us to help them start something that would help serve and meet needs of families in and around Cumberland County, but specifically focusing in Bridgeton. So that was kind of the impetus and start for Revive South Jersey there, and we had different conversations with community members of organizations that were already working in Bridgeton, and kind of through that decided to focus in on specifically serving the Spanish-speaking immigrant community, since there weren't really any services being provided for those community members.
I think Revive South Jersey is doing a tremendous and great job. They are a vital member of the community, but also a strategic ally of the Mexican consulate in Philadelphia that also covers South Jersey. And this is because all the programs that they offer to the community. So we have had this great partnership since at least 2019. And thanks to this partnership, our community gets access to different programs. One of them is La Plaza Comunitaria, that they host that Plaza Comunitaria, which is where the consulate, along with Revive South Jersey and La Plaza Comunitaria, offer like educational training, but also the possibility of the people registering those programs to achieve and finish elementary school, high school, and obtain their diplomas. These are Mexican diplomas by the Ministry of Education, but for us it's important to achieve that, because once somebody gets their elementary certificate or high school certificate, of course you have a better chance of a better salary, right? And they provide that with Revive South Jersey.
I know John, and matter of fact, I heard about John before when they did a part, when they revitalized the Johnson Reeves Playground, which was actually around the corner from where my first house was, off of East Avenue, Easton Wood. That's when I first heard about John. And I said, that was a great thing. That for somebody that wasn't even from this area, from Bridgeton, but who came in and seen that playground and knew that those kids needed a safe place to play. Because that's what it used to be. Back in the 80s and the early 90s, that was a safe place. But it had went down through the years. But they came in with John's effort, not waiting for the city to do it, to build that playground back up.
Wow, Revive have impact Cumberland County a lot. I would say I've been helping, I actually worked with John with Unidos Pa Familia first in 2018. So it's been a long time for me. And then going with Revive for at least 2 years, because they're all different organizations. I've seen a tremendous growth on the community and how much it strengthened as much. And me as an ESL admin, I seen that from being in person, the numbers were a little bit low, and then grow completely online. So now we're up to 100 students in there. So with that, just one program, it's completely off the charts. Now seeing it from our community, that they actually come completely and not being afraid of like, oh yeah, like you should go to Unidos Pa Familia because they will help you on such and such and such. And with that word of mouth, it grows a lot completely.
Wow. I started with Unidos para la Familia when I was 18 years old. Unfortunately, due to circumstances, I dropped out of school. And once I turned 18, I started seeking into opportunities, and that started with education. One of the things that I came across was Unidos para la Familia, and I signed up as a student for the GED program. And I remember back then is when they were like, Unidos used to be in a basement, in a church, like in a church basement. And I used to work, and after work I used to come to classes. Sometimes I used to catch the bus after work, and yeah, I was able to graduate also. And there's where I met John. He was the director of Unidos para la Familia.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's huge, especially around the time when John came along. You know, there was a lot of unrest with different things that was going on in policing and over here in the States. There was a lot of different things that was going on. There was a lot of different portrayals of police. A lot of people had a lot of different opinions about police. Not that it was just then, but it was more concentrated. A lot of stuff was political. A lot of stuff was just, was true. But then there was a lot of stuff that wasn't true. A lot of views that were true, a lot of views that weren't true. So for any community to realize that your police department or any law enforcement officer, what you're supposed to be, what you really are, your law enforcement officers, they are public servants. Meaning they're supposed to be a help to the community, not a tyrant to the community, not the judge and executioner to a community, but you're supposed to be a big help. And that comes in a lot of different ways. So when you have a community or organizations that want to bridge that gap, because you're going to have different opinions, even in the law enforcement side. It's not just the community. From the law enforcement side, you might have biased law enforcement officers because of what they've experienced from the community. And people don't see it on that side. They don't see it where you had an officer that came in, he's genuine, he's good, but he's experienced some bad things, trying to help the community. And it kind of biased him or gave him a negative opinion of things, which they might spread. Just like in the community, if you have somebody who had a bad interaction with law enforcement, you think they're going to praise law enforcement? You think they're going to have a good attitude to a law enforcement? No. But when you get both sides together and you can talk about the differences and you can talk about and be transparent about it.
I've been working here for 6 years now. Mainly the work that we do is geared towards families in general. We try to help them reach whatever goals they may have. That could be educational, financial, stability, a personal goal. It all depends on where the family is or where they want to go. We also try to bring them into sports for the kids to grow community so the kids could connect with other children in the community. So we try to grow that, more community involvement, help them reach other goals that they may have within themselves and their families. It could be a personal goal or it could be a family goal. So we try to help as much as we can in those areas.
So for us, it's important, at the end of the day, we really want to work on building community, and you do that through families, but also key pillars in the community. And one of those key pillars is local law enforcement. So how do we work together to bridge the gap and build relationships and create an environment where everyone's valued. So where the proper value can be placed on the youth, on the families, on the individuals in law enforcement, and create an opportunity for conversation and relationship to happen. And we found that through that, it really helps bridge the gap, helps create connection, especially for youth with law enforcement, where maybe they're told one thing out in the community, but when they see something very different happen in person, it creates a new narrative for them, so that if they do happen to have a connection in the community, it can be a conversation. It doesn't have to start escalated. It can start, hey, oh, I know who you are, or I know Officer Thompson, and now because of that, I can trust that we can have a conversation about things.
It's a big help, because now the community gets to see officers in a different light. Not just somebody wearing a uniform, not just someone who's trying to enforce laws, but they see you as someone who's bought into their community, who's trying to help grow the community. And then, likewise, officers they can see these people where they might just normally ride by in their patrol car worrying about the next call. Now they actually know these people. They actually, when they see them, they can say, hey, you know, I worked with them on this, or I played with their kids, or they were part of my program. So that's the big bridge.
I think utilizing Revive to build that bridge is just with the relationships they currently have and the resources that they have outside of the school, obviously, what they can bring in and what they can provide our families with, enhancing communication, building stronger relationships, strengthening, the identity of the police.
So in Bridgeton, currently we have kind of three main areas where we work with families. The first is adult education. So we have a GED program in Spanish that we run. We have an ESL program in partnership with the Salem County VOTEC. And then we run an adult basic education program in partnership with the Mexican Consulate. And through all those programs, we have anywhere from 200 to 250 adult learners weekly that we work with. We have individuals from the community that serve as family advocates. So they're community members that have been trained, and they work with families to help them set and reach goals. They work with anywhere from 80 to 90 families on a monthly basis, and then also connect individuals in with our partner, the Camden Center for Law and Social Justice, and they help provide immigration services, particularly helping families know what their rights and obligations are and understanding if they do or do not have a proper case for residency. And then the last piece is youth programs. So since 2017, we've been partnering with the Bridgeton Police Department, their PAL program, to run youth programs. Started out with a summer soccer league, and kind of from there evolved into year-round soccer, dance, karate, photography, videography, social emotional learning classes, piano, art. So we are able to serve anywhere from 200 to 250 kids weekly through those various programs.
This program is, for me, is wonderful. I can help my community. They can finish your education, ABC, elementary school, middle school, in collaboration with the Mexican Consulate. This program is really easy because the students come in here, the class is in person, they can take the class in Zoom, and they continue follow for the GD and class ESL.
Honestly, I do this job because I see myself helping other people obtaining the same opportunities that I once had. And it's easier when you have a guide, an advocate alongside to help you, or even to motivate you, because there's times where we want to achieve goals, but for some reason we get stuck or we feel stuck. And there's when we need those advocates to motivate us and to make sure to remind us why we set those goals in the first place.
For us, our goal in all of this is to create a safe space for people. That's kind of what we've always tried to do. Revive from the beginning has been set up to be run by community members for community members. So our entire team is members from the community, and so the goal is really that for people going through change, they know that they have a safe place where they can come. They have people who've gone through the experiences they've gone through, whether it be GED, immigration, etc., and someone who can empathize, who can provide help, and who really knows and understands where they're coming from. And so our hope would be that in the communities where we are, especially in Bridgeton, that that would be what's remembered, is how the community came together, supported one another, and helped build the community and make it stronger.
So the impact, I believe, has been substantial already. And you witnessed it in just some of the partnership and the programs that we did together. It brings in families that normally wouldn't even want to be around police officers, but they were comfortable, looking forward to it.
Honestly, I don't know what's gonna happen in 100 years, but I can see that I'm making history when I see my daughter telling me that someday she would like to work for Unidos para la Familia. And that makes me feel proud because I feel like I'm doing something good. Mm-hmm.